Well, I think the most important thing to you, even though you love your music, the ground keeps you grounded. You are a conservationist. I learned in my research that you actually took an online course to learn about forestry.
Well, I did. Once Rosie and I, back up, she inherited some land from her grandmother in 1981. It was about 1,000 acres of land. Land that had been in the family, this particular piece of land, since the 1930s. And so, number one, family land, certainly want to do the right thing, certainly don't want to sell it, want to keep it in the family, but not sure what to do with it. It was diversified. Her grandmother had cattle, she had some row crops, she had some timber, and other livestock. And so, when it passed on to her, it was like, well, livestock, too much day to day, and row cropping, I don't really know much about that. And her brother at a breakfast table one morning said, well, if you're not going to plant a crop in this 50 acres over here that we normally plant a crop in, you might consider planting trees. That's long term. You're not going to turn a crop every year, but you don't have to till the land every year, And also, there was like a spiritual connection. Where does that thing that has given me so much joy and such a great career come from? The piano comes from the resource of wood, and so many other musical instruments: guitars, basses, cellos, violins, you name it. 95% of all musical instruments have an element of wood in them. And so I thought, if I could grow a forest and learn about forestry in a way that's giving back to the resources given me so much. And that's the way I looked at it. And so I went to the library, I checked out books on forestry and land use, wildlife. I was also interested in that because it's not just about the trees in the forest, it's about everything within. And finally I said, I've got to find a way to really bear down and learn more about the science of forestry. And so there was a correspondence course that was offered by the Extension Service, and I think it was it was either the U.S. Forest Service or the Georgia Forestry Association, I think, or commission, I can't remember. But anyway, it was a great little course, and I was doing homework in the back of the bus with the fabulous Thunderbirds. I was traveling at the time in the mid 80s, excuse me. And it was a really good little course, and I learned a lot about, learning, for instance, disease and insects, how to, calculate the growth of a tree, how to look for defects in a tree, how to look at the most healthy ones and realize what you want to leave on the landscape once you're doing some harvesting and thinning and so forth. And there was also an element of wildlife. You learned about white-tailed deer, wild turkey, bobwhite quail, and all the things that go along with it. So it was a great little course. It's not like taking 4 years of college by any means, but I learned a lot from it, and that gave me the confidence to move forward and start managing.
Well, what amazes me is that you don't waste a thing on that land.
Thankfully, we're beginning to get it and to do better. There's still challenges, as you know, Monica. Yeah. Our environment is still in trouble. Global warming and climate change is a real thing, and we need to wake up and smell the coffee, because there's not a whole lot of time to turn this thing around.
Well, you share that information on your PBS show, America's Forest.
Yes, thank you. I have so much fun with this show, and the show can be anything to do with forestry. We're partners with the Nature Conservancy, for instance, and so we get a lot of discussion about the nature in general, and not just trees and forests. But we also explain about the use of wood, the many different uses of wood. You've heard me say it before, but we build our homes, schools, churches, offices out of wood. We make books, magazines, newspapers, packaging products out of wood. They sequester carbon. There's all kinds of things that people don't think about, like the lignin, the sap of a tree that is used for making cleaning products that you buy in the grocery store and other places. Cellulose that goes into food products, salad dressings, even toothpaste, for instance. And so, again, it's just such an important natural resource to us. And I always remind people, natural, organic, and most importantly, renewable. Trees grow back. Forests are very resilient if you help them along. Now, are there challenges? Yes. Look at the Amazon basin. You know, that's tough to see.
There are lungs. The Amazon is our lungs.
The lungs of the planet. Yeah. And slowly but surely, actually not so slowly, but they're being more and more deforested. And we need to stop those processes, and we need to realize the other things that trees do for us, you know.